Ms. Pierce, you hold yourself out to be a certified documents examiner, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now I want to put exhibit number 1 on the screen in front of you. And you got that, that's your name up there, Marty Pierce, and certified documents examiner, those initials, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and you got it up there like CPA or MBA or something like that, right?
Right.
Okay. And you got CGA there, right?
That's correct.
And that stands for, I guess, what does that stand for, according to you?
Certified graphoanalyst.
Certified graphoanalyst. Okay. Let me ask you first about your formal education. What's your formal education?
I graduated from Central High here, and in Nashville I took like one course in actually psychology in Drones Junior College. Also, I was in real estate, and
I'm asking about your formal education.
well,
like high school, college, master's.
no, I don't have any college. No, I don't.
Well, you have like one semester of psychology at Drones Business College here in Memphis, right?
No, actually in Nashville.
In Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the extent of your formal education, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you hold yourself also out as a forensic documents examiner, too, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, and you got that, I think, on your your fee schedule part of Exhibit 1, where it says Schedule of Fees and Services. You have on there Certified Forensic Document Examiner. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What's the difference in a Certified Forensic Document Examiner and a Certified Documents Examiner?
Basically none. I think forensic means that I'm able to testify in court or that my findings can be presented to courts.
Well, who says that you can testify in court?
The judge.
Have you ever testified or been qualified as an expert in documents examination in the United States District Court?
I don't have my CV in front of me. District Court.
Surely you remember that's the highest level of trial, because the federal court, United States District Court. Surely you would remember
Yes.
that, wouldn't you?
Would that be included bankruptcy?
I'm asking the United States District Court.
Well, I'm not as well versed in the different courts, sir. And I can tell you if I've been there or not, but I need to look at my CV because I've testified almost 70 times.
Now, the 70 times you've testified, have those been before a jury or have those been in depositions?
Your Honor, may I show Ms. Pierce her resume?
Sure, I was about to ask. I'll
Thank
get
you.
there.
Well, Mr. Arvin will indicate when he's going to pass it up, and that's how we'll proceed.
Okay.
Now, these 70 or so cases you say you've testified in, are they depositions or are they before juries?
Some are before jury, some are before the bench, some are depositions. Only probably half a dozen or maybe a dozen depositions or arbitrations.
How many times have you testified before a jury?
I don't know because I've never really separated it out. If I've testified under sworn, if I've been under sworn testimony, then I put it down on my CV, but I don't just,
Have you ever
divide 'em up.
testified before a jury?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
A few. I really do not know how many times.
And where?
One time would have been Madisonville, Kentucky.
Was that in state or federal court?
It may have been state. I know I've been in state court before, even here in Memphis.
Before a jury?
I don't know about the jury. See, that's the thing. I don't make that distinction. But I know I've been
As a
in...
matter of fact, I mean, it's very important to testify before a jury, correct?
I have before.
You've only done it a few times.
Well, that's your words. I don't know how many times I've done it.
Is that what you just told me?
I've done it. I have done it a few times or several times. I'm not going to make something up and tell you, but, I don't know how many times. I really don't.
Here's your CV, that exhibit number 1. I want you to tell me if you've ever testified before United States District Court.
Well, there's a federal court in Greenville, Tennessee that I testified in.
What does it say there? Does it say bankruptcy court, or does it say U.S. District Court?
It says federal court, Greenville, Tennessee, and that was, the VA was
All right,
involved in
for
that.
Judge Hull, okay. For Judge Thomas Hull, is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that before a jury?
Sir, I really don't remember. I'm sorry, I just don't.
All right, well, I'll move on.
I never realized how important that was to y'all, or I would have made notes, but
All right.
to me, if I'm telling the truth, I don't care if there's a jury or not.
Okay. Now, you say you're certified as a documents examiner, correct?
I am.
Who are you certified by?
The Institute of Graphological Science out of Dallas, Texas, and also a gentleman named Felix Klein.
What is the Institute of Graphological Science in Dallas, Texas?
It's the only accredited school that I am aware of that teaches the document examination. They are in Dallas, Texas, and they are literally licensed by the state of Texas.
So they're accredited by the state of Texas?
Yes, they are.
What kind of facility do they have?
They have an own campus, and they also have the correspondence courses that you can take.
What kind of campus do they have?
They have, it's relatively small. They have the buildings where you meet. They don't have dorms, but they
Is it an office building?
No, actually, was connected to a residential area. It was in a residential area, and
So
they,
the institute is in a is it in a house?
well, there was a house on the property, yeah, but where you had the school was out back in a classroom.
So the school is out back of a house in a residential area.
That's correct.
And you've been there, correct?
Yes, I have.
When did you go there to get certified?
In 1989, I was there.
And how long were you there to get certified?
That was a 4-day intense workshop.
4 days, but very intense.
Correct,
Just 4 days, correct?
at that particular place.
And well, that's who certified you, right? The Institute of Graphological Science.
Yes,
After that 4 days, correct?
yes,
And did you take a test?
I did.
Who gave you the test?
Felix Klein.
Is Felix Klein the Institute of Graphological Science?
Well, he was speaking for them and putting on this workshop.
Well, what people are the Institute of Graphological Science?
Mary Lynn Bryden, Dr. Mary Lynn Bryden was
What she have a doctorate in?
well, I think their doctorate was in psychology, and handwriting has a lot to do with psychology.
Handwriting has a lot to do with psychology?
Yes, sir, it
The
does.
education of handwriting has a lot to do with psychology.
Yes, if you went into the Library of Congress, you would find information about the handwriting would be filed under psychology area.
Well, I'll ask you more about that in a minute. So, I mean, what kind of laboratory did they have at the Institute of Graphological Science in Dallas behind this house?
I don't remember a laboratory at that time there. Now, they may have had one that I didn't see because we were seated in a classroom, and we had the necessities like measuring tools or magnifying glasses, that sort of thing.
And you paid $400 for this 4-day certification course in Dallas, correct?
Something like that.
And whoever pays their $4 could go to the course, correct?
No. No, you have to learn what you're there for. You have to be tested. If you don't pass, you don't get your certificate.
Well, how did you pass the test?
With flying colors.
What kind of test were you given?
It was verbal, but we have to give written answers, and then they were graded. And
How many people, what was the pass-fail rate?
I don't know. There were some, but most people were there because they had a genuine interest. They weren't there to fail. They really wanted to learn. So I would say that most of them passed, but not all.
And when did you say you got certified by the Institute of Graphological Science in Dallas? When was that?
1989.
And you say you've also been certified by somebody named Felix Klein?
Yes.
You said something about Austria?
That's where he was trained.
Is that where you went to go study?
No. He's been in America for years, out of New York. He worked for like the United Nations and
Who accredited him? Who accredited this individual?
I think it was from Austria. I do not know.
Now, you say you've had some extended training after you went to the 4 days down in Dallas at the Institute of Graphological Science, correct?
Yes, Andrew Bradley out of Colorado taught a huge course. I say huge because I've got volumes, 2 volumes that thick, information and testing. Now, I did.
How long were you there with this or Mr. Bradley in Colorado?
Face-to-face, I was with him about another 4 days, but I took the correspondence course, which was those volumes that I, mentioned.
Was this related to the Institute of Graphological Science?
No, this was his own course. He was, I'm not sure who all he was trained by, but I know that he had the Secret Service training, and he had the...
You say he was trained by the Secret Service, or he was training Secret Service agents?
He was trained by the Secret Service, and also...
You're not saying he trained Secret Service agents, are you?
No.
How many months of full-time training have you had in forensic document examination? Full-time training?
That's hard to say because there would have been my mentor, Pat Fuller.
Your mentor, Pat Fuller?
Yes, out of Nashville.
Who is she?
Who worked with me. She's a well-recognized handwriting expert in the Nashville area.
What boards or organizations recognize Pat Fuller?
National Association of Document Examiners.
National Association of Document Examiners?
That's one that would...
Isn't that the National Association of Document Examiners? That's somebody that you can just pay a fee and you're admitted. Is that correct?
Absolutely not. You have to have references. You have to have a brain. And
do you recall giving a deposition up in Dyersburg?
I sure do.
You were questioned by an attorney from Memphis named Oscar Carr?
Yes, I remember that.
And didn't you tell him that anybody could join the National Association of Document Examiners just by paying a fee?
It depends on if you want to be certified through them. No, that's wrong. If you just want to be an associated member, then you can pay a fee and belong. Depends on what your objective is.
Are you certified as a documents examiner by any recognized certifying board?
Unless you're in the government, you don't have one that's a recognizing board. And we are, as private practitioners, do not normally have an opportunity to go to the government training because we're not law officers. I'm a little old to be climbing ropes and, passing the physical, so it wouldn't work for me.
Have you ever been recertified by any recognized certifying board?
No, I've just continued my studies as the years have gone by, but no, I have not been recertified. And I know that the government does that, but I'm not the government. I'm a private practitioner.
Have you ever been, has your work ever been peer reviewed?
Well, yes, it has. I mean,
by whom?
Ms. Fuller, my mentor, and also some of my associates that if I had a case that I wasn't real sure of, we would kind of review each other's cases. Then in one particular instance, one of the conferences and seminars, we all reviewed each other's work in that particular time.
Have you ever published in any peer-reviewed publication?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever been certified by the American Board of Forensic Document Examiners?
You mean the government agency? No, I'm not government.
Are you saying the American Board of Forensic Document Examiners is just a government agency and only government individuals can join it? Is that what you're saying?
One of them is, if it's my understanding, unless you're with law enforcement, you're not invited.
All right. Do you know if a private person can join the American Board of Forensic Document Examiners if they meet the qualifications?
I do not know.
You've heard of the American Board of Forensic Document Examiners, don't you?
I have.
And you know something of their standards, don't you?
I'm not sure that I do. I've never seen the bylaws or anything.
Do you have the qualifications to join the American Board of Forensic Document Examiners?
I have no idea.
Do you remember again being questioned by an attorney named Oscar Carr up in Dyersburg?
Yes, I do.
Did you tell him that the only reason one reason you couldn't get into the American Board of Forensic Document Examiners is because you didn't have a college degree? Do you remember saying that?
I think that is one of the requirements, but I don't know all the requirements. I really don't.
Now, I want to put exhibit number 1 back up again and ask you about, you say you're also a certified graphological analyst, is that right?
Yes.
CGA, that's what you hold yourself
Certified.
at as, correct?
Certified graphical analyst, yes.
It's on your curriculum vitae, correct?
That's true, yes. It was a good foundation for teaching me every little thing to look at in handwriting.
The graphological training, correct?
It was graphological training, but it taught me the basics, really, of what to look for in handwriting. It doesn't matter whether I'm looking for something for court or if I'm doing a graphoanalysis, because I'm looking at much of the same thing in the letters, the spacing, the uniqueness of the letters, and so on.
Who certified you as a certified graphological analyst?
The Institute, no, I'm sorry. The Graphoanalysis Society out of Chicago.
Again, I want to ask you about your deposition up in Dyersburg. You deny telling Memphis attorney Oscar Carr that you were certified as a certified graphological analyst by the Institute of Graphological Science in Dallas, Texas in 1989. At the same time, you were certified as a certified document examiner by the Graphological Science Institute.
Those were two separate things. I got the certified graphoanalyst was a 2-year course that I took out of Chicago. I know it's confusing, but anyway, then the document examination that I was certified through came out of Dallas on the course that I took there.
Ma'am, just a moment, Your Honor. Now, what is graphology? What do you say graphology is?
It's handwriting. Grapho is handwriting. The ology would be dissecting handwriting is basically what that amounts to. You're probably wanting to know that it's personality or character assessment. And that is a totally different, it's just a whole different science from document examination for different reasons. I mean, it's like me going to play golf would have nothing to do with me testifying in court here today.
Do you claim to be a graphologist?
I'm a certified graphoanalyst. Yes, I am.
What do you analyze as a certified graphoanalyst?
Personality and character assessment.
So you claim that you can analyze somebody's personality and character assessment from their handwriting? Is that correct?
I'm not claiming that. I can prove that.
You can prove it?
Yes, I can.
So by my handwriting, you could tell that I'm a not too smart attorney, correct?
You said that. I don't know.
You could say that I'm a very lazy person. Could you say that from my handwriting?
Very likely. It's notable in there. I might even find something nice.
Could you say I'm a very happy person from my handwriting?
I can tell attitudes and stuff. But what's that got to do with document examination here?
This is where you got your document examination training at the Institute of Graphological Sciences, isn't it?
No, you're misconstruing that. They teach two things. They teach document examination, which is entirely separate skill from the graphology. They teach two things.
Wouldn't that be like Harvard Medical School saying we teach neuroscience, but we teach witch doctoring too?
No, I'm not a witch doctor. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a clown in the circus. I'm for real, and I can prove it.
Wouldn't you agree that graphoanalysis is akin to palm reading or?
Absolutely not. No, no, no. That's ignorance. It doesn't work that way. I mean, only the unlearned people would say such a thing. So maybe we need to show you what it can do.
Okay. You've written a book about graphology, haven't you?
I have. I wrote that on my evenings on my time.
You self-published your book on graphology, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I don't have a college degree, but I'm not too stupid.
Here's your book on graphology, Love Letters A to C, Insights into Romance, Love, and Sex. Is that correct?
That was the slant of this book, yes.
Okay, and you say that you can tell things like if somebody makes an abrupt ending on their T here, whatever that is, abrupt or no ending, you can tell that they're thrifty and they may spend their wedding night at a budget motel. Is that correct?
Your Honor, I'd like to object. This is beyond the scope of her report and her testimony.
Objections overruled. This goes to the credibility of the witness.
Is that correct?
If you don't put any endings on your letters, yeah, you're tight. You don't want to spend your money.
So if I don't put any endings on my letters, that means I'm thrifty and may spend my wedding night at a budget motel, correct?
It could mean that. It means that you're thrifty.
Well, that's your book right there, Marty Pierce, CGA, CDE, correct?
That's correct.
And if you have put a small bag in your bottom loop of the Y, that means you're a possible gold digger. You could be after somebody's money.
It means you like to have that little money packed in your little bag and holding on to it.
I'm going to go to and this is your book. You've had it, you can see
That's
that.
my book, yes.
You self-published it, right?
I did.
And I see that it was, what, your friend and mentor, Pat Fuller, she was one of the editors?
She looked through it for me, yes. I asked her if she would go through it. But that had nothing to do with her business whatsoever.
Well, here's your introduction to your book. It says, do you find yourself trusting the wrong person? How many times have you given your heart away to one who does not deserve your love? Have you ever thought you found Mr. or Mrs. Right only to find later they were all wrong for you? Well, don't give up. There's hope for you yet. By taking an instant look at a person's handwriting, you can tell if you should take a closer look or turn around and run. Why invest weeks, months, or even years if there's no way things will ever work out? Exclamation point. I spent 18 years in the single scene and almost as long as a bewildered wife before I got wise and applied the science of graphology to bypass the pitfalls of love, romance, and sex. Now I'm happily married, own my own business, and live in peace and harmony with others. That's in your book, correct?
That's right.
And you think graphology is a science, right?
It is a science. If
What?
you're taught properly, it is a science because it works the same way every time. 2 and 2 always make 4. 4 and 4 always 8.
Who taught you the science of graphology?
A gentleman named Bunker out of the Chicago area was actually kind of the one who wrote the Bible, you might say. He used to be a shorthand teacher.
A gentleman named Bunker?
Yes.
What's his first name?
I can't remember.
Have you charged clients money for graphological services?
What I've done on occasion, because this is kind of a happy and light side of my business, and only about 1%, or even maybe less than 1% of my business, yes, on Christmas, a lot of people like to have what they call entertainment, and they don't like to hear about anybody more than they like to hear about themselves. So I can and do, on occasion, rarely, provide entertainment for like a party or something like that. I also may go play golf, once every 2 or 3 years, but, it doesn't make me Arnold Palmer.
I'm going to show you, I guess, page 8 of your book, and you've got a bunch of pages like this in your book. Can you see the 8 down there?
I do.
And you've got a bunch of pages where much of the book is just like this, where you say, if you have an absent or very short ending, that means you're stingy. People might invite you for pizza and let you pay. Is that correct?
That would be an example of stingy, in my thinking it would.
Then you've got an extremely long A there. It means you're a venturesome lover who finds the chase exciting. Is that correct?
Yes,
Then your book goes on many pages like this. Like on page 22, it says, if you have wide upper loops, you're susceptible to flattery but can't tolerate criticism. Is that correct?
that's right.
And let me ask you about, let's see, page 30 of your book. Page 30. It says there that you have, if you have inflated loops, it means you're imaginative, and variety is the key to keeping their interest, correct?
That's what I wrote, because the key word would be imaginative. Then, as a book, I had to give them some kind of a example, and I tried to keep it light and kind of humorous.
But this is the science of graphology, according to you, correct?
This is applied in a slanted toward the love scene. I had so many single friends that would get the wrong person and then be heartbroken. It didn't work out, so I said, well, I need to write a book for them. So
And look, on page 30 of your book, it says if you have a bar pointed down on your F, it means
you're controlling.
caution.
You're controlling, yeah.
And let me just flip to a few other examples. Let's see, here's one from page 32. If you make a X ring in your F, according to you, that means you're self-destructive and this companion may sabotage their own relationship, correct?
Self-destructive is correct.
But this is your writing, your book, correct?
That's my book. And it's accurate.
And let's see, I'm going to show you the back of your, this is the back of your book.
Correct.
It says that finally a surefire way to know instantly about the sexual secrets of another person, right? And that surefire way is the science of graphology, correct?
Yes. Very helpful.
No more broken hearts, no more broken bankrolls, no more wasted time, right?
Yes. Hyperbole.
Then it's got down here, that's you, right? Picture of you?
A few years back it was.
All right. It says Marty Pierce, a certified graphoanalyst and certified document examiner, has analyzed the handwritings of music stars, famous politicians, presidents included, and thousands of regular people. Who asked you, what presidents asked you to analyze their handwriting?
Generally, it would be a newspaper and presidents running for election, or candidates, I might say.
And it says here
They
that,
would like. And also, I live in Nashville. We have a lot of country stars there. Sometimes they have get-togethers and parties, and they would invite me as partly entertainment to analyze certain people. The TV may say, Marty, we're going to do a story on such and such. Would you come and analyze some of the stars?
it says that to Pierce, handwriting is like looking through a glass window right into the brain. Over the past 30 years, she's actively demonstrated how our every thought is revealed through the little scratchings we make with pen and paper, correct?
That's correct. I'm sorry if it offends you, but it's still true.
And let's see, it says here that you examined the last will and testament of country music legend Tammy Wynette, correct?
Correct.
And I'm going to show you exhibit number 1, your CV, where you say on here, let's see, it says that you are the document examiner of the last will and testament of country music legend Tammy Wynette, correct?
That's correct. Channel 5 News out of Nashville hired me to look at the document to see whether or not it was Tammy's signature, also some medical documents, who had the right to give her medication and shots. And those documents were legit.
I thought you said on direct examination, I thought you said that you testified in the will case of Tammy Wynette.
I don't think I said I testified in that case.
So absolutely.
I said Channel 5 hired me. I came to a conclusion in the case, and they used that on Channel 5 News.
So you think on direct exam, you didn't say you testified in the Tammy Wynette case, you think you said that Channel 5 in Nashville hired you, is what you think you said?
That's what I think it said.
But there's no question you didn't testify in a court proceeding in the Tammy Wynette case?
No, I didn't.
Nobody
No.
hired you in that case, correct?
They didn't pay me, no. Channel 5 asked if I would do that for them for their news coverage, and I did.
Okay.
Freebie.
Went on Channel 5 News, correct?
True.
Why'd you do that?
Because I was asked to do that, and I think there's nothing wrong with doing that.
It says go ahead.
I'm sorry, I couldn't see any reason why I shouldn't do it.
Looking here again at your curriculum vitae, it says you belong to the International Graphoanalysis Society, correct?
Yes,
And it says here you're a published author. You've twice published in For the Defense, a Tennessee Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers bi-monthly newsletter, correct?
that's correct. Now, that's not self-published. That's really legit enough.
All right. Well, you're not a criminal defense lawyer, correct?
No, of course
And
not.
This is an association of defense lawyers, right?
That's true.
And they don't have any accrediting standards for handwriting or anything like that, right?
No,
Are you a member?
I am a member.
So anybody, you don't even have to be a lawyer. You can pay your money and join the Tennessee Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, right?
Probably so, yeah.
It says you are approved to teach document examination at Glen Cliff High School.
Correct.
Since 1993. Who approved you to teach document examination at Glen Cliff High School?
The gentleman that was head of the night courses, I can't remember his name, but I do have a document in my possession, yeah, I do, that shows that they had approved me. They check you out, make sure that you have experience in that area before they would approve you to teach.
And this is a gentleman at Glen Cliff High School did this.
That's correct. The gentleman that was over the night classes, yes.
Who approved you to teach handwriting analysis at Nashville Tech?
Whoever was in the office there, I don't recall, it was 87, and my memory is not great. I take a lot of notes.
A lot of notes. It says you were the document examiner on the Byron low-tax looper case.
That's true,
Did you testify in court on that case?
No, he didn't want me to testify in court because that could only hurt him. Low-tax looper is the one that called me from jail, wanting me to take the case. I took it, but it didn't go his way.
Well, don't you agree this makes it sound like you testified in court on these things?
No, I didn't say I did. I worked a case. Doesn't mean, hey, I work a lot of cases that never go to court.
Are you self-employed?
I am.
And you hold yourself out, you say you're a full-time certified documents examiner and certified graphological analyst.
Yes.
How much time did you spend on that last year?
Well, I don't know the exact hours, but it's at least 40 hours a week, sometimes a lot more.
So you work 40 hours a week in this job as a C certified document examiner and certified graphological analyst. Is that what you're saying?
As long as I have a case, yes.
How
Now,
much did you charge per hour?
I charge for the whole year. I don't remember when I changed my fee schedule, but it's $100 an hour.
So you charge at $100 an hour and you're working 40 hours a week last year?
No, but I'm not working. I don't always have a case every single day, but when I have cases, I'm working at least 40 hours a week, maybe even more. No, I don't make big bucks. If I did, I could afford some.
What would you approximate what income you made from your self-employment last year?
I think it was about $22,000-23,000.
So you weren't working many 40-hour weeks, were you? Were you?
Yeah, quite a few. It's kind of like when you go into a shop, you know, they're either dead or they're busy. So I do have lulls, and then I have it when I'm slammed. If I'm slammed, I work until the job is done. I don't care about the hours.
What kind of equipment do you use in your graphological analyzing practice?
Well, sometimes I use a magnifying glass. The graphology end doesn't really usually require anything but that.
And you say you became a certified document examiner and certified graphological analyst in 1989?
The same year, but it wasn't from the same people, wasn't from the same course.
What did you do for a living before that?
I was in real estate and mortgage bank and
What did
vacillated.
you do in mortgage banking?
What did I do? I was a loan officer.
And did you try to sell real estate?
I did sell real estate for quite some time.
Did you work as a secretary for a while?
Yeah, I did that. I had 2 kids to raise, and I did what I had to do to make a living so that I could keep clothes on them and food on the table and take care of myself.
What
In an
kind of-
honorable way, I might add.
Go ahead. What kind of laboratory do you have for your document examination analysis?
I mentioned the tools that I had, the light box, the infrared lighting, the tools that measure, the micronta, the magnifying equipment, the different
What's the
jewel.
micronta?
Micronta is a 30 power magnifying tool.
How much do they cost?
They're probably only about $30. Now, I don't have any expensive equipment, I'll tell you that right now. On $20,000 a year, how am I going to go buy a $15,000 piece of equipment? If I needed that, then I would have to send it to a lab, but at least I know if I need it.
How often have you sent things to labs?
I can remember one time in particular sending something to California.
What lab
A
was
long
that
time
you
ago.
sent something one time to California?
Let's see. I want to say the guy's name was Motley or something. I don't recall. I'd have to find.
Sent it to a guy named Motley Lab, is that correct?
I can't tell you exactly. I don't have that information before me, and I don't remember back then. And
Now, your $30 microscope, did you buy that at Radio Shack?
I did. But it still magnifies.
What's the difference between an objective lens and an ocular lens on a microscope?
Now, I am not too sure because my microscope has not the double vision. Mine has the one lens.
Do you own, have you ever heard of something called in documents examination field called a VSC?
Yes.
What is a VSC?
It is an apparatus that you can put, you can put two documents down and view them at the same time instead of going through all the rigmarole of having to find the words and cut them out and place them side by side like I've had to do. So it saves you a great deal of time, I'm sure. It also, I believe, has infrared lighting where you can change the wavelength so that you might be able to see differences in ink.
And do you own a VSC?
No, I do not.
You don't use one in your documents examination practice, is that right?
Not normally.
Have you ever heard of what's called an ESDA in the documents examination field?
Yes.
Do you own and use one of those in your practice?
Again, we're talking, if I were a doctor, I probably wouldn't own an MRI. I'd probably have to send that out. However, same kind of deal here. I do what I can do. I know my limitations. If it's something beyond me, I send it to someone who can handle it.
You've only done that once to some guy named Motley with a lab in California?
The time that I remember, like I say, my memory is not wonderful. I'm getting up in years and thinking of retiring.
What kind of training have you had in, have you received in the differentiation of different kinds of inks?
I haven't had a great deal of training in that. However, I'm limited to what I can see under a great deal of magnification, lighted magnification. If it were extremely pertinent to the case, then I know that there are labs that could be sent to, but I also know that those labs with chemical testing can damage my document. And I was under specific orders not to damage these documents.
Where have you had your not-so-great training or not-so-great amount of training in differentiating different inks?
That was part of Mr. Bradley's courses. So
Was that the 4 days in Denver or the 4
No.
days in Dallas?
no, that was another course that I started, and it was so extremely time-consuming that I decided in the end, I was making A pluses, so I decided that I'll use these as references, and that's what I've done. So I have that, and then I have like Osborne books or whatever other books that assist me.
I'm going to put up, let me show this to you first, Ms. Pierce. I want to ask you a couple of questions about this. This is your, that's your rebuttal report. Take a look at all those pages.
It is.
Is that what a report that you prepared after receiving Mr. Grant Sperry's report?
Correct.
And again, that's your letterhead up there, CDE, CGA, correct?
Still is, yes.
And those initials, they're really meaningless, aren't they?
Not to me, they're not.
Well, I mean, it's not like a Master of Business Administration or a Certified Public Accountant, is it?
To me, it is. You may not take it seriously, but that's your opinion. If I'm not mistaken, those are some of the initials that Mr. Sperry uses.
You put in here, well, I think you said earlier you didn't question that Mr. Sperry got it right on the ink because he had the right kind of filters and everything, right?
No, I'm not questioning that. I just couldn't see it.
You're not questioning that there were two different kinds of ink, a different kind of ink on envelope Q1, which is exhibit, what's the exhibit, Deputy Sanders?
Q1 is Exhibit 2.
The envelope.
Thank you, Your Honor. And the different kind of ink on exhibit 3, which is Q3, or Q2 rather.
Q2. No, that doesn't bother me, although he obviously could see something that I didn't have the equipment to see, but I don't see the significance. I don't see that that's any evidence there anyway.
And you say chemical testing is the most reliable method of ink analysis, correct?
That's what I've been taught.
Well, who taught you about chemical testing? Was that down in the 4-day thing in Dallas in 1989?
It may have been mentioned there, but it was also in Bradley's course.
And that was, I guess, in Chicago in 1989, or was that?
No, that would have been Dallas, Texas.
At the Institute of Graphological Science?
Yes.
Okay. And it says, you got a thing in your report here about you didn't think it was necessary to, let's see, I'm going to get down where you can see it, pardon me. It says when it comes to ink analysis, and you see what it says there, you don't think it's necessary in this case, correct?
Correct.
That's your opinion, it's not necessary in this case, right?
Because I don't see that it proved either way the authorship. And that is what we're trying to look at, is the authorship of this document.
But you didn't think it was necessary, but you took it on yourself to call an officer at the Tennessee Department of Corrections, correct?
I did.
And ask him, do they use multiple pens out there, right?
I did.
Okay. That's not really a forensic finding, is it? That's just like you calling somebody and, or me calling
I
somebody.
just wanted to see what, if they had pens available or they didn't.
So that's the kind of thing you think should go in a forensic document examination report, that you called somebody and asked if they have other pens.
Actually, that's the first time I've ever used that. But why not? I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody.
Have you ever heard of?
I'm sorry.
Say whatever you like.
What I'm trying to get at is the truth. I'm not trying to up somebody or any of that. I'm just trying to make an honest living and get at the honest truth. Simple, easy. I'm not trying to play games. I'm not trying to twist it. I'm just trying to look honestly and find all the facts, not the berry picking or whatever, but to find the whole thing and put it together to the best of my ability.
Well, you hold yourself out as a forensic documents examiner, not a private investigator, though, don't you?
Oh, I'm not a private investigator.
Have you ever heard of an organization called ASTM?
It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know.
You wouldn't dispute me if I told you that's a worldwide organization that sets standards for the professions, including the forensic professions. Would you dispute me on that?
I'm not in dispute you because I'm not sure.
You don't know what it is, okay. Where did you, in this case, your document examination in this case, where did you conduct that at?
In my office.
And what did you do?
Well, okay, I went through that earlier, but I looked at all the documents, both questioned and known, and compared those documents to each other, and then broke it down and broke it down and broke it down to make sure that I had all the information that I could find in those documents about the writing. Then I weighed my information, and like I said, the only thing I could not explain out of those would have been the little downstroke on a U, And that's the only so-called difference. If it is a difference, it may be a variation. You may do that elsewhere, but I didn't see it. So to me, it was a possible difference.
Is the only equipment you used in your examination, I take it, your microscope that you got at Radio Shack and your jeweler's magnifying glass?